Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. This is, or you're watching from. This is JP. Welcome to Jump On Music UK, and we are basically looking at the RC-500. But before we get into that, I've got a couple of announcements. First of all, I am aware that we're just looking at the live stream right now. I'm just making sure everything's working. Let's just do that. So finally, I'm back on live stream. Hi. I've moved the desk. The desk used to be there. It's now here. So you can use to see that. And I just moved everything around. So I hope you guys are okay. Let's have a quick look of what's going on in the chat. We are live streaming. We're live streaming on YouTube, on my Facebook page, on Twitch, and also on Twitter as well. All the handles are Jump On Music UK, so you can find me there on any of those platforms, and including Instagram as well, but I'm not live streaming on Instagram today. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the RC-500, some tips and tricks. We've had a couple of questions, quite a lot over the past couple of weeks, all about the RC-500, and a couple of things people want to do with it straight away, and if they're feeling like it's a bit limited. So I'm here to tell you today, it's not limited, and you can do lots of different things with it. So I just wanted to give you a shout out and just basically say, hey, like, I know I've done a lot of stuff about the 600. Let's go back to the 500, and a lot of people are upgrading for things like the RC30, the RC20 XL, and you're going, wow, I've got this new amazing device, what can I do with it? But I've also had these questions, so I just felt like it was the right time to come onto a live stream and go, look, this is what you can do with it, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this live stream is actually sponsored. And it's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. If you don't know who DistroKid are a music distribution company, and they basically, you can release your songs with them. So if you want to actually get with DistroKid, we have an affiliate site where you can actually go onto it and you can actually sign up, and that's all good. So what I'm going to do is, there is a link that's on the screen now. It's also in the description box of this live stream. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up a QR code, this tiny little QR code there. If you go over to that QR code, I can't speak today, then we can obviously go through it there. Let me just add a couple of things onto my list here. There we go. Lovely. Great. Cool. So let's do this instead. There we go. That's much better. DistroKid basically is, as I say, a music distribution company. They don't charge you per release. So if you release a single or release an album, it's all charged once per year, which is $22.99, and we can save you 7% off with the link that's in the description box. It's also these QR codes. So I'll leave the other one up, the one in this corner. I always get this wrong, which hand I'm using. This corner up here, and then you've got basically this big one here as well. So if you want to obviously give it a click, that helps the channel, it helps me, and thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream. Right, okay, so once we've now all done that, I'm going to leave that QR code up there so you can scan it at any time that you wish, and let's bring in our little friend, the RC-500. Now, as you can see here, I've got the RC-500, I've also got an FS6. You may have one already, or maybe you've got an equivalent pedal, depending on what you're using. Just to give you an insight, the audio you're hearing right now is coming from my microphone, which is the Eastern Stealth mic. I've got it plugged in to the RC-500 right here. It is on phantom power because you can either use it with or without, but phantom power obviously gives it a nice big boost. And I've got literally the left and right going into my audio interface, into my computer, so you can hear me. That's why I'm wearing headphones, so I can hear it as well. And then we've got the FS6 pedal, which is an AB pedal, and then you've got one cable. This little cable actually came from a microphone which you use with a camera, like a Rode microphone, things like that. This was actually the which one was this? This is the Comica one. So it's basically a TRS jack, and I've got these little adapters that go make its big jack, the big 1/4-inch jack. So just plugged it in there. It's nice and tidy because it's like a coil cable. I quite like using that. It's quite useful. I have got a battery in here. That's why, if you can see that, let me just angle that so you can see there's a power thing. You don't need the battery in there. The battery there is just so you can power the lights. That's pretty much it. It doesn't have to be battery powered. But We're going to go into a couple of things today. So let's go over to the live stream. Let's go over to the chats. That's what's going on. Brandon, hi. I bought mine 5 days ago. Cool. Let's show you some cool things then. So first of all, let me know, obviously, in the chat, if you've got any questions regarding this box, if you've got any questions regarding the RC-500, let me know in the chat. And it's a multi-chat, so I can see all the chats from YouTube, I can see all the chats from Facebook, I can see them all. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. Cool. I'm so professional on my live streams. Right, let's get this sorted. There we go. Right, we're going to put this up. So the RC-500 is in the big window, as it were. I'm just going to take a sip of tea because I've been talking a lot in 6 minutes. And you get the joy of hearing me sip my tea. So I've got loads of stuff on this already, and what I've done is I've actually got this on a blank memory, and the buttons are as they would be out of the box. And the first question I got was, I want to erase everything. I want to erase everything without any sound. So there's a little bit of background music. I'm going to turn that off now. And the reason is because I'm going to create some beats and music, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we can actually erase stuff without it making a sound. First of all, let's get a beat down. There we go. Now, the problem is, if I want to stop both of these at the same time, out of the box, I can't. I've got to press stop on track 2, go to track select, and press stop there as well. Now, in a live performance, that's a little bit tricky. If we basically go stop, track, stop, if you want to stop them all at once and all at once and all at once. So there's 3 ways we can do this. Way number 1 is changing one of these buttons if you don't have one of these. Way 2 is to use one of these, and the third way is actually by using an expression pedal and controlling the volume of the loops. Now, that's what I do with my RC-600, but you can do it with the 500 as well. I haven't got an expression pedal on the table, which is really silly of me. I forgot to bring it over, but I'll try and find it very quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this neat little trick. And the first one is actually changing this. So if you are familiar with the RC-500, you can see that basically there's a light here that's blinking away. This is the tempo, and that's the input of me talking. And as I get closer, it's going to go completely blah, blah, blah. There we go. And that's the tempo. Ignore that for now. Doesn't matter. We're on memory number 25. Memory number 25 has gone white as opposed to blue because it means there's something in there. And then you can see here, this is just flickering every once in a little while, basically to say, hey, you're on track 1. Okay, you're on like loop 1. If I press track select, we jump over to track 2. So I know just by which one's blinking which track I'm on. Now, the simple way obviously is to remember the colors. So track 1 is red and track 2 is blue. Okay, nice and simple. Marvin, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Brandon, I've just seen your comment, and we'll get to that. Definitely. I'll let you. I can show you that in a second. So let me just address this one first, though. So the first way, as I say, is basically to change the pedals. Now, the great thing about the RC-500 is this is kind of the first boss one where you could actually change these to whatever you want, which is really make it really customizable, which is fantastic. So you can even have different pedals on different memories, so you could have it doing different things on different ones, which is really clever. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the stop button here to basically be all start stop. For like you'd have an all start stop on an RC-600, and that way you can stop and start both tracks at the same time. Now, the downside of this is that then I've lost the ability to stop the track individually. So this one, I'm going to change over so it's like a one pedal looper, like an RC5 for both tracks. I hope that makes sense to you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into memory. I'm going to scroll across until I find control. I hope you can see that there. I know the camera's a bit far away, but you can see there, hopefully you can see it says control, and we're going to give that a click. Now, pedal 1 is current track, record and play. So what that means is whatever track you're currently on, then you can record and play whether you're on track 1 or track 2. Now I still need to jump between track 1 and 2, so I'm not going to change track select because I want to jump between the two tracks. So there's more than one way to do this, but what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to basically say on this one, instead of current track pedal 1, if we give this a click and scroll all the way to the very beginning, the first thing is off. Okay, so therefore there isn't a function there. And if we keep going, you can see it says track 1 or T1, track 1, record, play. So that's just track 1, record, play. Great, no problem. However, I need to stop it. So if you keep going, there's a couple of different options. And the big one is T1 RPSC. So what that actually means is record, play, stop, and clear. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on that. Now, the downside is to stop it, you've got to double tap. And then what you've also got to do as well is you've got to hold it down to clear. The other downside is if I do this, I can't do track 2. So you've got all these functions for track 1, track 2, and you've also got current as well. So if I say current track, record, play, stop, clear. So that no matter which track I'm on, that'll record, that'll play, it'll stop, and it'll clear. So it's like a one pedal loop, it's like an RC-5. Okay. Then this, because I can stop individually, I'm going to change this to all start stop. Now, this is the bit which confuses everyone, and I really hope Boss will change this in the firmware update. But if we go over to pedal 2, we're on current stop. So therefore, the default was whatever was stopped. You currently stop it, and that's fine. So what we're now going to do is we're actually going to scroll across to a thing called all start. Now, this is actually all start stop. They just haven't written it like this, and I really wish they changed this to like all S/S. Or it'd be really, really useful if they did that. So let's just leave that as is now. I'm not going to write it to memory, but you can see now, see the way that's gone blank. So it actually hasn't got a light on it. So if I just press this now, it all starts. Press it again, they all stop. Nice and simple, okay? That's really, really handy. So I can still get to each track individually. So now I'm on track 1. I know that because it's flashing, and I'm on the red. Track select blue. I can double tap to stop that one track. And then go across there, and I can double tap that as well. Ooh, really? I've just seen that. Hi, your resolution is very low. I can't see the screen detail. I am in 720p quality. Okay, cool. Give me one sec. We'll do this. That's fun, isn't it? This is the beauty of having rubbish broadband in the UK. That's all I'm going to say. So let's just... I'm glad you said it, though. Thank you very much for letting me know. There we go. Right, okay. Unfortunately, you just saw the top of my head. Apologies about that. So let's have a quick look and see what's going on. Oh, yeah. Not good, is it? So let's get this sorted. Video settings. Cool. Wicked. Right then. So let's have a look there. What's going on? Okay. I am just going to do something right now, which is going to annoy everyone because I'm standing up, but give me one sec. I'll put the little intro music back on so you can talk amongst yourselves while I sort something out. Right then, so hopefully in the next 2 or 3 minutes, we will get a little bit of better quality, and there is a reason for that. So if I just go to there, this is the wonderful thing about live streaming, isn't it? There we go. Right, it says it's connected. Let's get this up and running. Let's get this show on the road. If I do that, you're going to knock that. There we go. Cool. Let's have a quick ganders. There we go. Right. Okay. So give this a couple of minutes. Thank you, Serdar, for letting me know. I will endeavour to make this better and faster. and quicker and all that and all the above. So hopefully it should kick in soon. There we go. I've just had a look at it myself. Let's just go to that one. Now the stream. Are we back? Well, let's find out. Hopefully we're back. Are we back? Let me know if I'm back, because it doesn't tell me. I'm having fun today. I'm sure every person who's done live streaming has had this problem. I really hope so anyway, because that was fun. It was real fun. Hopefully it's better quality. Please let me know in the chat. Hopefully it's all right and it's got better. Hi, Australian Ray. Is the quality of this live stream okay? Can people let me know? I'm here. Ooh, that looks much better. Good, fantastic. Isn't it great when Wi-Fi works? What I did do, though, is I managed to lose my other camera. I don't know how that happened. There we go. So let's just try and see if we can add that camera back in. Don't ask. It's just, do you know what? I'll do a video on my live streaming setup. I was like, yeah, I'll move the desk round so it all looks cool, like here. And I was like, yeah, the cabling's all naff. Hey ho, that's the way it is. Right. So let's do this. Can you see this in an okay-ish quality? Let me know if it looks okay. You look well now. Oh, I look well. Did I look ill? I've just realised. I think that looks better. Yeah. Hell yeah. I got a hell yeah. Hell yeah. That looks good. Cool. Right. Okay. Shall I start again? Shall we start again so you can see the modes that I did and the moves that I did? I think it's only fair that I do. Yeah. Because that way you get the content you want. The whole reason why you might tune in. So what we'll do is, very simply, I'm gonna do that again. So, hi, good afternoon. No, I'm not gonna do all that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go over the first thing that we said about this looper. I'm going to basically go over an idea that someone had and said, how do I do an all-start-stop like an RC-600? Okay. And Australia says, yes, please, I just got here. I know you did. Goodness me. Ray, what time is it there? 11 p.m.? 9 p.m. where you are? Oh my god! Whatever it is, you normally like join us at 2 p.m. here, so God knows what time it is. Anyway, so the idea is with the RC-500, people are still buying it, people still got it, and people have only just got it. And it's one of those things where actually it can do. Oh, it's 8:30. It's 8:30. That's not too bad. Then you can basically do loads of different things with it because it's really customizable. In fact, it was the first one that was customizable in the sense of like a looper, in the sense of you can customize what these buttons do. And then they brought the 600 out and the 505 Mark II, and everyone went mental. But this one actually can do so many different things. So I want to show a couple of different tricks today. And yes, it was a surprise to see you on at this time. Yes, I know, I'm normally on a Tuesday, but I thought, why not? Let's try Wednesday morning instead. Why not? And see what happens. So I'm going to do a couple of different things. The first one is the one we did before where you couldn't see what I was doing. So now what you're going to be able to see is see what I'm doing. So we've got these three buttons and we're on track 25. Sorry, track 25. Memory 25. I'm all flustered now. Breathe, JP, and take some tea. It's better. The entire British Empire was built on cups of tea. Anyway, lock, stock. Moving on. Right, so we've got these three buttons. We've got basically record, play, stop, and track select. And these three buttons are like that out the box. And this is FS6 sucks because it's got a battery. I know, but hey, you don't need the battery, by the way. You only need the battery if you want the lights to go on, really, to be honest. So, record, play, stop, and track select. So, with this, what you can do is you can actually go into record, play, stop, and track select, and you can change it. So, what you need to remember with this, as you can see right now, hopefully you can see right now, that this is on memory number 25, and it's blue. These are actually blue, but it doesn't really look blue up there. I am looking to upgrade my camera, by the way, for my top-down camera. So if you want to support me for that, you can always hit me with a super chat and we can support getting a better camera, so therefore you can see what the hell I'm doing. And these basically, these two bad boys at the moment are blue. This is flashing away, and this is tempo, and this is my input. Now you can see track one flashing there independently, like every once in a blue moon, just to say, hey, you're on track one. And the way to remember that is on track select, it's red. So track one is red. Track two is blue, okay? And that is a blue color. I know it doesn't look blue on the screen, but believe me, it is. And then when you go back over to track one, it's red again. So what I want to do is I want to create a stop for all start stop, and you can actually have an all start stop in the RC-500. It's just that a lot of people don't know about that. So what I'm going to do is I can change these. Now in order to do this, I actually need to change the function of the record play, because if I change this, I can't independently stop the loop. So I can't stop loop one, keep loop two going. So we're going to go into menu. We're going to go across over to control, and we're actually going to change pedal one from current record play to current, there we go, RPSC. So I hope you can see that. So RPSC is record, play, stop, clear. So you're changing this into like the equivalent of an RC5, okay? So like a one pedal looper. That's that done. Let's click that. Let's go to pedal 2, and this is the one we want to go over. And if we scroll across from where it is normally it's current stop. So whatever current track it's on, stop it. But we're actually going to do this where we're going to go over to all start. And as I said before, what I really hope is that they change all start to all start stop. They need to update this in the firmware because it is an all start stop. It does stop the loops. We're going to leave the track select so we can bounce between the two tracks. I'm going to leave that there. Now I'm just going to turn off this background music and we'll just make a quick beat. So we're on track 1. There we go. Let's move over to track select. We're now on track 2. Bum 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 So there we go. If I press this, they both stop. How easy is that? So I can just press it again, and they both play. But what happens if you want to? That's great, fantastic. But what happens if you want to stop one of the loops? So let's do this. I'm on track 2, and I want to stop just track 2 only because we're on our record, play, stop, clear RPSC. Then the stop is a double tap. So how cool is that? Let's get back to track select. Now, if we just hit stop, it's just going to stop because we've only got one thing playing. If I can double tap on there and then go, right, I've stopped everything, let's play it all. Nice and simple. So there we go. So what we can do is we can literally just press this once. You don't have to double tap. You don't have to do anything like that. It's nice and simple because you've got a nice, easy way where you can create a track, move over to the other tracks. You've still got that independence of the track, but then when you press this, it's all stop and it's all start. Now, before we carry on to the next little trick, what I want to do is what I did before, which is this. This live stream is sponsored, and it's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid is a music distribution company. You give your songs to them, and they push all your songs out to all the live places, all the music servers, all the things like Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Pandora, Tidal, all the ones that you don't know about around the world. And they don't charge you per release. So basically, if you make a single or you make an album or an EP, and I'm really glad Australia Ray is actually on this live stream because I did a live stream with the RC-500 and an iPad, and people were putting stuff in the chat of what I was going to play and sing about, and it was completely unrehearsed. It was raw, it was live, and I took that live stream and I turned it into an album, and that album is now out there. And I used DistroKid. I'm pointing that way. I'm doing it wrong again. It's that side. Pointing. I used DistroKid to release it. So this QR code and the link that's in the description box will actually give you 7% off your first annual membership. So if you're pondering whether to release music this year, do it. Why not? I've already released like 2 singles and a live album. Imagine all the, like, if you recorded like your live gig, you could just literally chop it up, put it through a mastering service, which, by the way, DistroKid have. It's called Mixia, and that is $99 for the whole year. And then you can put it through, and then it becomes less than 22, 23 quid to release one album. And if you release anything more, singles, EPs, you can actually do a load of them. It's fantastic. So thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream, because they do, and it's fantastic, and it's great. Right, let's go over to our next option, which is there's a good question before we carry on. How many assigns does the RC-500 have? Let me show you. So let's go up to here and let's swap this round. There we go. So let's just do that. Oh, goodness me, GP, what are you doing? We're having fun today, aren't we? I just need to stand up a second. Yep. There we go. Let's do that. Right, cool. So how many assigns? How many assigns does it have? Let's go in. So if we go into memory and scroll across, you will see it goes through to loop effects, rhythm, control, and you get to assigns. And it actually has 8 assigns. So the assigns you have is 8, whereas obviously the RC-600 has 16, and that is per memory, remember. So you can obviously have different things per memory if you want to, no problem at all. So you can do different things, and this is actually part of what we're going to be doing with the next one. So I'm going to erase this memory, because I'm not going to save it, because I'm just going to use memory 25 to do different things and show you different cool tricks. So we're back to factory settings, as it were, and we did an all start stop. The next one is like, well, how do I clear it all? So I want to clear it all without without any sound. Now, you'll know yourself if you've played with any loopers, certainly the boss ones, if you hit clear, it plays it for about a second, maybe a second and a half, and then what you want to do is it then clears it, and that's fine. But I want to clear it without any noise. I don't want to have any noise on it whatsoever. So what we're going to do with that is basically we're actually going to use this, and we're going to use the FS6 pedal. We're going to tell the FS6 pedal to do a different thing, which is all clear. And we're going to do all clear with one button for both tracks. Now, you can do all clear, and you can also do it on here, but I want to keep these the way they are. I don't want to change these, and you can do it on this as well. So if you did want to change this, you could have that as track 1, that as track 2, and that as all clear, if you wanted to. In fact, let's do that first, and then what we'll do, I've just realized, let's do that first, and then what we'll do is I'll swap it around again. So the first one is I don't have one of these, okay? I don't have an FS6 pedal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into memory, I'm going to go over to control again, and give it a click. And first one, this one is current record play. I don't want it to be current record play, I want it to be track 1, everything. So let's scroll backwards, and we're going to go to track 1, record, play, stop, clear. So that's like an FS5, but for track 1 only. So this pedal completely controls that. That's it. Everything else. If we go to pedal 2, we're going to do the same, but for track 2. So track 2, record, play, stop, clear. So track 1, track 2, that becomes redundant because I don't need to switch tracks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that all clear. Now, the way we do this is there isn't an all clear for both tracks. So what we have to do is we have to be really clever and use an assign. So the first thing we need to do, I'm going to make this all clear for track 1, and then I'm going to use an assign to assign this to be all clear for track 2 as well. So first of all, we'll go over to pedal 3, and we're going to go and find track 1 clear. Nice and simple. There it is, T1 clear. So T1 clear now, basically. So if I press this, it will clear track 1. Okay? But we're not done there. What we need to do is we also need to do this when we press the same pedal, the same button. We don't have to press it twice, but basically you press the same button, and then what happens is it'll do track 2 clear. In order to do that, we need to go out of here, and we need to go over to assign. So we need to assign a function with the same button. I hope that makes sense to you. So we're going to use assign number 1. We're going to first of all turn it on and make sure that it's on. We're going to scroll across, and what it asks you, what is the source? What is the thing we're pressing? That is basically the source is what you're pressing. And I've just realised I've just knocked the camera. Sorry about that. So we're going to go down that, and we're going to go, well, it's pedal 3. Pedal 3 is this one. That's the source. And if we go across, it says, well, do you want it in moment or toggle? We want it in toggle mode. And what's the target? What are we trying to do? We're actually trying to do track 2 clear. So let's recap. Let's get it out of there. I'm not going to write it to the memory, as I said, because I'm going to use this for a couple of different things. So this is now track 1 completely. This is track 2 completely. And this is track 1 and 2 clear at the same time. So let me just turn this little background music off. Let me just make a little beat here. Okay, so that's track 1. If I double tap it, it'll stop. And if I hold it down, it will clear, but it plays a little bit first. So let's add in something into track 2. Okay, now in order to stop these together, I need to double tap. So you have to do that. But if you have something like this, you could always have a all start stop on one of these. But if I now hold one of these down, it will play for a second and then it will clear it. However, I'm going to play this, and I'm just going to press this button once. Watch this. Ready? Gone. It's as simple as that. It's so easy to do. So therefore now, if I press this, it's gone. Now you have to be very careful with this, because if you press this by mistake, your loops have gone and they're not coming back. It's not an undo, it's a clear. So it's completely gone. What I'd highly recommend to do is invest in something like this, like an FS6 and FS7 pedal. If you want to go and pick one up, go to my Throne page. There's loads of different ones on there. So an FS6 and FS7 pedal, a dual pedal of some kind. So therefore, you can really expand this. The alternative of expanding is MIDI, and you can obviously use MIDI. And I've done a couple of videos about that already, where I turned an FS5 into a 9-pedal looper. Now it's 9 pedals, 9 buttons, but it's still a 1-track looper. I hope that makes sense. But with the MIDI, you can obviously do things like, with the Morning Stars or the sort of Harley Benton MIDI controllers. They're very, very useful. So that is option 1. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it, without me dropping my tea, there we go, is, let me erase that again. So it's now back to factory settings. By the way, if you want to quickly erase something, then you just go down a memory, up a memory, and it's gone because you haven't saved it. You haven't saved anything. So it's got rid of all the functions, but it's also got rid of all the audio as well. But we already got rid of the audio. The other way to do it is actually do the same kind of thing, but we're going to leave this the way it is because I like that. And I'm actually going to use all clear on one of these. The great thing about that, I can put it over there and I'm not going to press it by accident. So all we need to do is we're going to leave these 3 as they are. Go memory. We're going to go over to control again. Give control a click. So pedal 1, pedal 2, pedal 3. And then we get into control 1 and control 2. Now, and I'm coming back onto the main screen for this. I don't know why Boss does this. I haven't got a clue. There must be a reason. But whatever happens, when it comes to loopers, pedal 1 and pedal 2 are the wrong way round. I don't know why. They just are. So pedal 1 is not A and pedal 2 is not B. It's the other way around. So control 1, sorry, is B and control 2 is A. It's like that on the RC-500. It's like that on the 600, on the 505, on the RC-10R. I don't know why on the RC-5. I don't know why. It's just something they've done, and I don't know why it is that way. But hey, that's the way it is, and that's what we have to deal with. So, control 2 is A. And control 1 is B, okay? So control 1 is what I'm going to use, which is the B pedal. So at the moment, it's loop effects. So if you turn that on, it'll create some effects. However, what we're going to do is, we're going to do, basically, go back and look for track 1 clear. That's cool, fine. And then we're going to go and use the same assign again. We're going to go assign 1 on, and we're going to do the pedal this time is expression pedal. No, control 1 pedal. There we go, control 1 pedal. Okay, and then once we do that, we actually say, well, we want it on toggle. And what do we want it to do? We want it to do the same thing we did last time. We want it to clear track 2. I hope that makes sense. Diggs, what's up, man? How we doing? Hope we're all right. So basically now, these are the same. These are just out the box the same, exactly the same as you had. And then with this one, now this is like literally clear all, okay? Like all clear. Clear all clear, depends how you want to say it. So again, the beat. Let's go with track select, because this hasn't changed. The buttons aren't different on this from out the box. Yeah. Look at me out of sync. So, I've made a mistake. I do make mistakes. It has been known. So let's press all clear. Gone. I can just press that. And it's literally not a hold down. It's just a one tap. Nice and simple. Bump. Really, really useful. Really, really handy to use. I hope this has given you some kind of value. If it is, please smash any like button that you're on, because we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. So if that helps you, please do so, because that helps me as well. That helps this channel. We're trying to get this. I haven't said this publicly, but I'm trying to get this YouTube channel to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I know it's a vanity thing, but I just want, obviously, loads of people to kind of like look at the channel. Simple as that. And then I can carry on making more content. Ray, Have you seen the RC-600 edit program some fellas made? Has nothing to do with Boss. Yes, yes, I have. If you go to the RC-600 Facebook page, you'll find the guy there. I want to say his surname's Taylor. What was his first name? Taylor? I can't remember. There's a Taylor in there somewhere. Yes, and apparently it's Windows only. It's not Mac. At the moment, he hasn't ported it over for Mac, but it is Windows. So if you do have a Windows machine, check it out and see what it's like. I haven't had an option because I'm Mac and iPad, so I haven't got a Windows computer to play with it. And he did say he's going to do a Mac version, but it takes a long time to program. It's taken a long time just to control. I've been watching that progress. It's been fabulous because anyone who's done, can you send? He was like, give me a couple of weeks, and he's just done it, and it's been brilliant. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. My name is JP. Welcome to John Paul Music UK. We are live streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, and on Twitter. And this is basically RC-500 tips and tricks. If you don't know what an RC-500 is, it is a 2-track looper that's down in the corner, just down there. And let's swap that round right now. And you can make loops with it, but then also you can actually do some really cool customizations and some really cool things with it. So we're actually just showcasing that today. And obviously, if that is something you're interested in, give this a thummies upsies. And then also, we do loads of stuff on the channel, all about looping, all about music tech. So if you want to obviously hit the old subby, scribey, then you can be doobie. I don't know where that came from. I don't use Facebook. You don't have to use Facebook, don't worry. You can probably find the guy. He's probably got that on a web page. In fact, shall I find it for you? Let's have a ganders. I mean, the thing is, he wants to give it out to people, so he's probably not just like sending it out on Facebook. Let's have a look. Not now. Let's swap that over. Boop. Boop. John Taylor. I knew there was a Taylor in there somewhere. John Moose Taylor. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Cool, fantastic. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, as long as you found the link, that's good. Hello, nice visuals. Is it possible to change effects modes, A, B, C, D, increase, decrease on the buttons or external pedals? Thank you. That's a very good question. Thank you, Sergio. So let's have a quick look. We'll find out. So are you talking about obviously the effect mode on an RC-500? Because we can obviously have a look at that. Now, obviously there are some effects on here, and with those effects. Where are we? There we go. Oh, gone the wrong way. I'm using something, and all you're doing is looking at the top of my head. Apologies. Right, cool. So you've got a couple of effects on the RC-500, and those effects are things like scatter, repeat, shift, and flick. So we've got that there, and we can actually go through those different effects. So yes, you've got loop effects there, loop effects on or off. So if you turn them on, and you can say what type it is. So you repeat 1, 2, 3, shift. We've got vinyl, flick there, and scatter. So the way to look at this is by going out one, going over to assign. And what you can do is you can press a button by basically then just changing the effect. So we can do this. So you can either do it on one of these if you want to, or you can do it on here. So if we go assign on, and let's change the source. So, well, actually, let's change it over. So we'll keep our all clear there. Let's change it over to this one, which is Control 2. Okay. And then what we do is we can actually go toggle. And then the target for this is actually FX Inc. or FX Deck. So if we scroll through past track 1, track 2, current track, keep going, and then you should find, there we go, there you go, loop effects, and then you've got, let's have a quick look. Now this will, now if you use loop effects, that will turn loop effects on or off. So if you go, you got track 1 effects, track 2 effects, current effects type. So with effects type, there it is. If you go into effects type, and then you can say the minimum is scatter, and then the maximum is something else. So you can actually press the button and it'll change from the other. The alternative to do would be, instead of effects type, go to effects increase or effects decrease. And what this will do is basically it will change the order. So if you go from increase, it will go from scatter 1 through to scatter 4, then it'll go to repeat, then it'll go to shift, then it'll go to vinyl flick, and then you go back to scatter. Whereas if you do decrease, it'll go the other way. To answer Sergio's question, yes, you can do this, no problem. So you can increase that through there. Now, that's obviously on the RC-500. If you're talking about things like the ABCD on things like the 600 and the 505, of course you can, absolutely. So you can do a FX increase and decrease on them as well. And that's, again, using an assign and assigning it to a pedal or a button, and you can actually do that, no problem. Right, so I've got a blank track now. So the reason I've got a blank track is because then I've got rid of all the controls I've just set. So I've got rid of the effects, I've got rid of all these. And one of the things I got asked was about basically using this as a 4-track looper. Yes, that's right, you heard me, a 4-track looper. Now, how can we use a 2-track looper as a 4-track looper? Well, I'm going to show you. So it's not really a 4-track looper. I'm pointing this out there right now. It's a 2-track looper. It's always going to be a 2-track looper. However, we can very cleverly use the undo redo for each track. Okay, and you have to plan your loops. You have to plan where your loops are going to be. Okay, so let me explain this to you. What we're going to do is we're going to not play around with these at all. That's just going to stay the same. So we've still got track select. So we've got track 1 and track 2, and that's fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use these two for undo redo of each track. Okay. So what that means is I could put a beat down on track 1, and then when I put something else down on top, I say, well, that's track 1, that's track 2, just to be consistent. And then that way, basically, when I do undo, it's going to take away the last thing that you've done. And then when you redo, it's going to put it back, and it's straight away. The really clever part about this, let me just change this over to there. The really clever part about this means that if you plan your loops really carefully, you can undo and redo 2 layers, okay, 1 on each track. And this is really clever, and it's a really clever way of using the RC-500. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to create these 2 buttons to do 2 different things. So we're going to go into can't speak. We're going to go into memory. It's because there's a menu as well. We're going into memory, and we're going to go back over to control. I hope you can see that there. And then we're going to give it a click. Pedal 1, pedal 2, pedal 3, we're going to leave alone. Control 1, remember, is B. Okay, so I want that to be undo redo for track 2. So this one is going to be track 2 undo redo. Oh, that's track 1. JP. Track 2 undo redo. There we go. I hope you can see that there. It's a little bit white. I need to turn the temperature down a little bit. And then that way, that is going to be track 2 undo redo. Done. Okay. Let's then go to control 2, which is this one. And this is going to be track 1 undo redo. There we go. So we've done that now. So that's track 1 undo redo. That's track 2 undo redo. So let me show you this as an example. So I'm on track 1 at the moment. These haven't changed. These are like they are out the box. And I'm just going to create 2 loops, 1 on track 1, 1 on track 2, obviously. Okay, so that's track 1. I'm going to add something over the top. Let's go to track 2. Right. Let's add something over the top of that. So we've got overdubs on both of them. Watch this. See what I just did? It's incredible. Let's bring them back. Let's take the harmonies off to keep the hi-hat going. Let's take the hi-hat off. And of course, there's nothing stopping us going over to there. And let's just. Now you can actually do undo redo on its own. Look at that. Cool idea, isn't it? The great thing is, you can do undo redo when it's not playing. So the really clever part about this is obviously right now, if I go, let's go over to track 1. Maybe you want that hi-hat in the chorus, okay? And if you've got a really wide foot, you can actually hit both of these at the same time. But we've got this going now. Let's go over to track 2 and play this. Let's turn that off. Right. I've got the breakdown, and the breakdown I'm going to take away the drums and turn off the hi-hats. Let's play it again. How cool's that? Let's bring back everything. So there we go. So that way, basically what you're doing is you're very cleverly using a 2-track looper, and you're using the 2 tracks. And the way you're doing this is you do an overdub on each one. And therefore, you've got 4 layers, as it were. So it's not a 4-track looper. Obviously, it's a 2-track looper. But what you're doing is you're doing very cleverly a 4-layer looper. And what you can do is you can take each one away independently. And that's really, really cool. It's a really smart way that someone was actually saying, can you do this? Can you do it? Because I noticed it said, like, undo, redo for each track. I was like, yeah, let's do that. So that way you can actually then take something away, bring it back, and therefore you've still got track 1 and track 2. Now, if you combine this with the other way of doing this, so we've now got our undo redos, let's change these over to independent tracks. So we've still got our loop there. I haven't got rid of it yet. Let's go into memory. Let's go into control. Let's change pedal 1 to, instead of current, let's go to track 1, RPSC. So we're actually record, play, stop, clear. Let's go over to pedal 2. Pedal 2 will do track 2, RPSC. And then track 3, pedal 3, we're going to go over the other way and we're going to go to all start. Okay? So now, what we've done, and I just want to recap on this, I can have complete control over this one. Track 1, record, play, stop, clear. Record, play, stop, clear on track 2. All start, stop. And I can undo and redo each track on here as well. So this is really, really clever. And to answer Ray's question, can you do this with the RC-600 and make it a 12-track looper? Yes, technically. You'd have to probably do it by MIDI, though, and the signs, as opposed to control. But yes, you could technically do this. So you can do that where you could do it on the controls itself. So you could say undo for each one, and you could maybe do it that way. So you could have individual undos for each track. Absolutely, there's no problem there. So now what I've got is basically an all-star stop. Let's take these away. Stop that one. Let's add the harmonies back in. Let's start it. Add the hi-hat back in. Take them off again. Stop that one. It's really cool. It's a really clever way of using the RC-500. And I can all start stop right there. If you can hear noise in the background, that's the bin men. They've come by the house and they're collecting lots of things. Great noise. Fantastic. So we go. So what do you guys think? The RC-500 is really, really dynamic in the fact that you can actually do lots of different things with it. And it's a really, really cool piece of kit because loads of people go, oh, it's a two-track looper, and then you've got the 500, the 505 or the 600, and then go, oh, well, you know, I don't know if I can do this, blah, blah, blah. You can do so much with it. And I have a question, and this is the reason why I did this live stream, if I'm completely honest, which is, I've done a full course, a full-blown RC600 course. Would people want an RC500 course? So this is obviously going to be available on the replay, and people will be watching this obviously maybe later on. I want to know if people want a course on this, so from me, obviously, that I can do for people to get the best out of it. And let me know in the comment section below or the chart if that's the case. But the other thing as well is that there are so many different options in this that it is absolutely worth downloading the parameter guide for because there's so many things you can do. And right now, all we've been using is an FS6 pedal, which you can pick up, you know, relatively easily. There's also alternatives as well, and I'm not going to dispute that. There's some really small ones you can get as well, and we've got it plugged into there. The other thing you can plug into there is an expression pedal. And the other thing you can plug into this thing is MIDI. So we can actually use the MIDI in and out. And if you've got things like a Morningstar or you've got any other kind of MIDI pedal, you've just unlocked this thing massively because you can do so much with it. And I've done a couple of videos all about this and MIDI, or a MIDI pedal and this, as it were. So go and check them out, obviously, on the YouTube channel because they're available and you can obviously go and watch them. But there are so many different things this thing can do, and you can do things in different ways. So we can route the sound from one to the other. There's lots of different things you can do. But I just wanted to give you a couple of tips and tricks today about the RC500, what it can do, and a couple of unique ways in which to use said RC500. So let's switch around. So first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for obviously joining me on the live stream. And apologies about the technical problems we had at the beginning because we did have a couple of technical issues. But I want to basically just do that, and that. And this live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid are a music distribution company. So you can't just go and throw your music on Spotify or Apple Music. You've got to give it to a distributor, and they do that for you. And DistroKid can do this. And they charge you one price per year, which starts at $22.99. As you can see there on the link on the QR code, we can save you 7%. So it's really, really handy because then that way, basically, you can just pay once, and then you're good for the entire year. So give that QR code a scan. It's also this link in the description box. So then obviously give that a look and we can have a look at this. Brandon, now, I knew you asked this at the beginning, so don't worry, we are getting to it. We're going to go for it. So I haven't forgotten about you, sir. Don't worry. Can I control the volume of the tracks with a MIDI controller or a foot switch? The answer is quite simply yes. So the easiest one is an expression pedal. Go and get yourself an expression pedal. However, if you don't have an expression pedal, you can control the MIDI with a MIDI controller or foot switch. So let's have a look at doing that with our foot switch that we have here. So what we've got, where are you? I haven't frozen, by the way. I'm just looking at something. Give me one sec. Yeah. Because there's a way to do it. And there's a way to do what's called level. Okay. So, but the problem is, I've got a funny feeling that you can't do it with an FS6 or FS7 pedal. You can do an expression pedal. Let's just go into it. Let's have a look. So let's find out. Because let's go that way. There we go. Cool. So, oh, you've got one. Okay, I've just noticed you said I've got one. Cool. All right. Well, that's easier then. And Australia Ray does it with the FCB 1010. So anyway, if you've got an expression pedal, let me just do this anyway. So we go into memory. We're going to go into control, and then you're going to go into control 1, which would be this one, the B. If we scroll through, you can see Let's have a look. I'm just referencing this because I don't think... Oh, sorry. Looking at my head again. I'm terrible at that. Yes, track select. Clear. No, you can't. You cannot do it with this traditionally. However, you can with an assign. So let's do it that way. So it's good to know that because let's just go like that. There we go. Menu. Memory. Go across to assign number 1 and we'll turn this on. And then we go to the source, so it's going to be pedal 1, 2, 3. You've got the expression pedal, you've got control pedal 1. So let's have a look at now. This is where you're going to have to go toggle. You don't really have an option. You could have moments. So what you could do is you could hold it down, and while it holds down, it changes the volume, and when you let go, it'll drop it back down again. So you could do that. So it's up to you whether you want to toggle it or have it as a moment. And then the target is basically you've got track 1 or track 2 level. So you can see level 1 and level 2. Now the difference is basically when you control the level of track 1 or track 2 with a range, and then level 2 is control the level in the range of like 0 to maximum value. So the best thing to do would be use track 1 level, okay? Sorry, track 1 level 1. And then when we go into this, it says, well, what's the minimum and what's the maximum? So let's put the minimum as like 50, okay? And the maximum's like 200. In fact, let's put the minimum as 100. Oh, 90. Let's go with 90. Okay, cool. And maximum is 200. Right, okay. So let's do this now. So oh yeah, I've still got that switched on. I forgot about that. Let's stop that. So I've still got that as loop effects. So this is the thing. If you're going to use this, if you can use the pedals for just one, make the max 100. Australian Ray says, oh yeah, definitely. Then what you have to do is you have to turn off, go into control, see it's a loop effects, turn that off. So completely turn it off so it doesn't do a control signal. And we go into memory. Let's go over to assign 1. Assign 1 on. Okay, cool. Oh, GP. There we go. Right, okay, so maximum is going to be 100 according to Australian Ray. There we go. Let's do that. Little tip for you as well, if you don't know this, if you scroll the memory value knob, if you hold it down and scroll it, it does it in values of 10. And that also works for things like the RC-600 and 505 and things like that as well. So that's maximum is 100. So the minimum, we're going to go down to 60. Okay, cool. So now, there's our track. And we can go into edit and just have a look. What is the value? So the value is actually currently 90. That's going to do that. I thought that was going to do that. Yeah. So memory, control, this one, turn off. There we go. And then let's go into assign 1 on source pedal. Right, just for this one, control 1. There we go. I'm going to do it as moment. And then I'm just going to do level 1. Now, just to be crazy, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to 200 on the maximum. Okay, just to show you what it sounds like. So, you know, watch your speakers. But bum 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 bum. Yeah. There we go. Bum 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 bum. See what I'm doing there? Now the downside is obviously that's a 200 and the minimum is 0. So the wrong thing is if obviously you let go, it's just going to be off. And there it is. So what I need to do is I need to make the minimum what you want it to normally be. Okay, so let's go back in. It's still playing, by the way. So, but let's go into assign number 1. Let's go back into it. Let's go the minimum. So the minimum is going to be, let's go for 90. So now, there it is. If I hold it down, let go. And we'll stop that there. But you get the idea, right? So. There we go. So basically, it will actually record that, no problem, and use that way. That's the easiest way to do it that way. Then, yeah, if we change it to toggle, then what will happen is I've just erased it, Ray. So I'm gonna have to do it again. But if we go control 1 is off. Oh no, I didn't erase the actual sign, did I? So let's go moment toggle. There we go. What have I done here? Have I done something on here? Loop effect on, that's why. Off. There we go. I had the loop effect switched on. Duh. So just press it once, really loud. Press it again, it's back to normal. Now the downside with this is obviously that it's literally one level or another level, and that's it. That's all you can do. When you've got an expression pedal, what you can do is you don't need to go into assigns at all. So let's get rid of this and let's go for a brand new track. And then let's go into memory, and then we go into control, and you'll see pedal 1, pedal 2, pedal 3, control 1, control 2, and then you'll see expression function. Now, if you want to control the volume of 1, that's fine, because of course you can do that. You control the volume of 1. You've got the rhythm volume, you've got the effects control, you've got level 1, level 2. So you've got all these different levels. You can do current level, that's fine. But then if you want to actually, so it would be like track 1 level, okay? And the great thing is it is momentary as an expression by default. So if you move it down and then like leave it there, it'll stay on that, and then you move it back up, it'll stay there. But that again, it's like when we did the all start stop. So what we for different ones. So what we'd now need to do is we'd need to have it where the expression. Yeah, I've just noticed you've just said it there. Yeah, the expression has continuous data, so it's continuously telling it what volume to be, because it's in like a momentary mode. So when you leave it alone, it'll stay on that. So you could do it with that one. Yes, you could also do it on MIDI, and you could do it with MIDI keys, absolutely, with sliders. So I've done that before with this keyboard, and I've done it with sliders, no problem at all. But with that's all MIDI, but when you go into expression, you've got a couple of options. So you can do one thing at a time. So then what you would do is then use an assign. So instead, this time, the assign would be not pedal 1, but expression pedal. And then I would change that over to, say, track 2 level. Okay, and then that way, level 1, there we go. And then track 2 level 1, and the other one's on track 1 level 1, so then you can control the volume of the both loops at the same time. I hope that makes sense. Cool. I'm just having a quick look through the chat, just obviously making sure everyone gets what I'm talking about, which is good because it looks like you do. Fantastic. So this is all about basically RC-500 tips and tricks. If you've got obviously questions regarding the RC-500, then please do put them in the chat. I've got another one here. Can I do classical guitar plugged into my TC Helicon Play acoustic? Yes, you can. It's the only thing with that, obviously, that it picks up on the notes. So if you're playing different notes, so you're not playing chords, it won't do things like natural play for harmonies. Or the harmonies are going to change very, very quickly. So yes, you can. Of course you can. No problem at all. But if you want, obviously, things like... just seeing what Australian race has put. Yeah, so if sounds, certain effects. You want certain, absolutely, yeah. Plug the classical guitar in. Obviously, if your classical guitar has like a jack to plug into, or you have something like that, you can do that, no problem. Yeah. Next vid, JP. Next JP vid should be make your RC-600 into a 12-track with MIDI. Might do. We could do that, couldn't we? We could have a look at that. That'd be quite funny. So I hope I've answered everyone's questions. If you have basically, oh, you're welcome. No worries at all. No worries, Brandon. If you obviously have got a question, you're watching this on the replay and you're like, I missed this live stream, then put it in the comment section underneath this live stream, and then what I'll do is I'll try and answer it as fast as I possibly can. I hope this has been helpful for you. Give the live stream and the video a thumbs up. That really helps me, helps push it out to more people, so hopefully we can help a million loopers all at once. I'd like to thank obviously today's sponsor, which is DistroKid. Click the link that's in the description box, or what you can do is you can use the QR code and you can scan that and get 7% off your first annual membership with DistroKid, who are a music distributor. So if you want to get your music out there in the world, you can obviously do that and start distributing your music today. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to me and playing around with the live stream. And this is fun. And yeah, sometimes live streams don't go as planned because we had some technical issues. But hopefully you got some content out of it. And thank you very much for taking the time. Have a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever you're doing. And we will see you next week because I've got something planned for our live stream next week. This was planned, but I have something else planned. So join us next week, and it'll be available to see before the live stream starts, so you'll know when it's going live. So have a great day. Bye!